Good morning. It's my pleasure to welcome you to First Community Church and our time of work. Privilege and joy to do so, and I trust you will find the time here for renewal and for meditation and for praise and joy. So welcome to worship at First Community Church. Let us begin by listening to the prelude for today. With full assurance of faith and sincerity of heart, let us pray. This is your day, O God. You made it, and you share it with us, with all of its opportunities and challenges, its problems, its risks and joys. From the fragile clay of our lives, mold an inestimable treasure. Help us to shine with your light and peace. Bless our lives today and draw near to us. Teach us how close you are. Help us, gracious God, to reach out to all persons seeking the joy and assurance of walking with Jesus Christ. Help us invite them into our fellowship and mission. Help us walk with them in strength and openness. Help us reach out to those who are on the margins of life and are sorely in need of aid and love and welcome. As we gather here, O God, our thoughts go around the world to all the places caught in the turmoil of war.
Do not be astonished that I said to you, you must be born from above. The wind blows where it chooses, and you hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. So it is with everyone who is born of the Spirit. Fast forward, we will go to a time where Jesus is under great criticism. People are standing in front of him that want to kill him at that spot, and Nicodemus is the one who has the audacity to come forward to, in fact, defend Jesus. Our law does not judge people without first giving them a hearing to find out what they are doing. Does it? He said to the crowd. And they replied, surely you are not also from Galilee, are you? Search, and you will see that no prophet is to arrive. I've got to add my thanks to Marianne Krause for the outstanding work that she has been doing. I came back off a sabbatical with a committee, well committed, had everything in place, and they've just taken off, and they're absolutely fantastic. They're a delightful group. If anybody asks you that, remind them that that never shows up in the New Testament. The phrase born again never shows up. And you'd be surprised how many people think it is there. Just like when Jay Leno used to go out there on the street, remember? And the things that people thought were in the Bible, that God helps those who help themselves. It just ain't there. At least I haven't found it yet. Paul could help you with that if you need any more help. Born again does not appear to be born from above, says Jesus. You must get thinking out of the way. God comes not through our mind, but in our hearts, more directly. How many of you remember Chevy Novas? Do you remember that way back when? When did those things come out? Was that 70s, 80s? I can't remember exactly. But this Chevy Nova was a big hit, a little smaller car, and it was a big hit here in America, and they were just selling like hotcakes. And everybody thought, man, this is a really cool car. And a lot of people had them, and some people could afford them where they couldn't afford the big one. And so they decided, we're going to take it down to Mexico, and we're going to make more money in Mexico. And so they took it on down there, and the campaign just fell flat. They couldn't sell them down there. And so they went on a big spending campaign. They brought in new people from the United States, some of the executives, to make this thing happen. Big advertisement, still didn't go anyplace. They discovered why it was not selling. That changes people's lives. Talk to those people who had a life-changing experience, who are sitting among you now at Cursillo. I had the same kind of experience. It's more that we're looking for that experience that will make the difference. Do you have the novel of The Little Prince? Did you read that to your kids? Are you reading it now? It is only with the heart that we can see rightly, he says. Jesus came with that vision and invites us to see the world through his eyes. Not with my great discernment, not with my limited vision, to see the world through the eyes of Jesus. So what do we find in the text? First thing we find in the text is the limits of trying to figure it out. Many people, including people in this room, have been paid a lot of money to figure it on out. Mathematical stuff, it might be a little bit more understandable because we had a problem and we could finally work it on out. I discovered a relative profit, I don't know. People make big money telling you that they've figured it out. Will Willimon tells about the time down in Alabama where he was serving as their bishop. There's a huge billboard that proclaims that the arrival in the city is coming, a team of management gurus who, according to the advertisement, will change your life. They'll make your employees happier. They'll make you happier. You'll have everybody getting along lots better. Everybody will understand their vision and their mission and all that kind of stuff. And it's for $200. We will give you the secret that you've always been looking for. It'd be wonderful if it were that simple, said Will. People confuse prayer with trying harder. If I just try harder. Isn't that what we say in so many places in life so inappropriately? You got to try harder. You got to try harder. And so they buckle down and they get white knuckles and start going that way. I'm here to the love of Jesus. While that same God of love will punish a person who spends a lifetime loving others like Jesus, but cannot be forgiven for believing the wrong things about Jesus. Robin says it brings to mind the shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. And that brings me to that phrase I've used too many times. My summary is that God does not care what you or anyone believe. God could not care less. Jesus couldn't care less. God cares where your feet take you. In serving the causes, all of them, that Jesus invited us to see and to be a part of. Look at all of the experiences that we form in the life of the church that teach what cannot. When we go to Mexico, when we go among the poor, that's when the young people know, what is this joy that I find from them? What is this joy in serving? That's where we do it in action, never in a teaching class. God doesn't care what we believe. Cares where our feet take us. Anne Lamott one time in a book said, what we have made Jesus into makes Jesus want to drink gin from a cat dish. Is that a colorful image or something? I'll never be able to, isn't that amazing? I'll never be able to forget that image. Pardon me, but that was the humorous interlude. We're very funny people in the United Church of Christ. And don't you forget it, okay? Along the way. Read anything of Anne Lamott, who is very pointed in some of those things. Robin Meyer said that he learned something about what Jesus wants us to do in the 3rd grade. It's a great story because it kind of looks like mine. I don't know. I could not draw anything in the 3rd grade. You know, they always had you drawing things. And I just could not do that. Incidentally, I had an experiment the other night. I was up at the North Campus on Wednesday night. We got these tons of kids running everywhere. And I was kind of visit, and I went to the kindergartners and 1st graders. And I asked them this question. I'd read about this in a book. I said, how many of you are creative and love to draw? Every hand went up. And I'm going to pray for every one of them because a lot of people have discovered that by the 4th grade, there's only going to be one hand to go up. Somewhere along the way, I don't know what it is, we stifle some kind of creativity or being able to say, you know, I want to do better, or I want to practice at this. Anyway, I digress. So here, Robin, in the 3rd grade, had a story similar to mine. Anything he would draw, you couldn't tell what it was, you know. The teacher asked to draw a horse, and this kid would come with a perfect horse. His would look something like a dog. And he says, Robin, you've improved so much. I would like to use you as an example that I would talk to others about. He said, I'd really rather not. Please don't do that, teacher. And did not, indeed. Robin Myers, he says, our faith does not begin with believing the right things. Please remember that. Gosh, can you carry that someplace? You take notes, take that note. Our faith does not begin with believing the right things and then going to heaven. It begins with astonishment and ends with the imitation of the life of Jesus. Ask Nicodemus. He knows what it's like. Your mission, should you decide to accept it, is to imitate the Spirit of Jesus Be born from above. Imitate that Spirit of Jesus for your transformation, and you will be transformed, and it will transform eventually the world in which we live for the good. That's what it means to be born from above, beginning with astonishment, ending in imitation, not having to say one word. Among the greatest witnesses to the gospel of Jesus Christ have been the people who have never uttered his name, but only served in his name without mentioning a word. This